Season 2. I mean, everybody is excited about this show. I mean, I think because it represents, we've seen other shows that kind of supposed to be family legacy shows, but it seems like this is really about passing down wealth instead of passing down debt. And how does it feel to like represent that? We never really hear about the community like having wills and passing down land and stuff like that in our community. How does it feel to represent something that I guess we all as people should be like striving to do for the next generation?
I think it's important because, like you said, people need images, positive images, and positive role models, and I think they want to be seen. And I feel a great responsibility playing Nova because a lot of women really see themselves in her. And so that just drives me as an actor to stay as authentic, as genuine, and as open as possible when I play her, because it is reaching people in a way that is touching them in the deepest places. It's healing them in the deepest places. It's sparking dialogue and conversations between people who may not normally talk to each other. And I think that's in the way in which we present the images of the characters that we play. They're tangible, they're accessible, and they're engaging. And that is beautiful to be a part of that movement. Especially I think where I'm at, I think in my career, what I saw growing up, I know someone almost talked about like the Cosby Show, and now it's like Queen Sugar, and I was like, he putting Cosby Show and Queen Sugar in the same, but there was like, it's that same feeling of familiarity, of feeling at home when you turn on the television. And I think that is amazing to have people responding to us like that.
To follow up, Nova's character seems to be like almost an understanding person for black men. Like, I feel like so many black men get ridiculed for whether it's incarceration and everything. It seems like Nova understands, and even when you look at Charlie's relationship with, it's always some beef or whatever, but it seems like Nova just has like the back of, is that written into the story for you to kind of like be like?
Yeah, I mean, Nova is a healer and an activist, and the one in the community that people will come to. They entrust their stories to her. They feel comfortable with her. She is that person, which I'm thinking of the word, like she's charismatic, but it's more than that. She walks around in her community with a heart like this, and people see it, and it's genuine. It's not just like, oh, I'm being open, but I'm not really, She really sees people, and it's without judgment. And I think that's why for her, it's a huge guilt and almost grief with her brother, with him being incarcerated and feeling like, maybe I didn't visit him enough. Like, how am I over here talking all this talk, and then my brother, So she has like this duality in her life because she's doing so much from the community, but she also needs to do more and be present more, I think, in her own family.
Donna, how do you feel like the relationship of the characters, you already said like people reminisce of the Cosby Show. How do you think the familiar relationship of the characters played on screen relates to the modern day families that we have right now?
I think it was one of the most rewarding parts of this process is not only making the show, but watching the first episode and feeling so awed at thinking that our families will see themselves. Our families will recognize something, that they will see themselves in all of this glorious beauty. Because that's what I think the show's doing, is it's just holding up a mirror, but asking you to put on glasses of compassion and put on glasses of self-respect and dignity when you look back at yourself. That's what I feel like we're doing with our communities and with our families with this show. And inviting others who perhaps are not in those communities to see those reflections as well, where they maybe didn't before. I think what the family represents is legacy. Legacy implies generations. It implies history. It implies the future, and it implies the present moment. So you see the family in many generations having conversations about who they are, who they're becoming, what they want for their world, for themselves. And I feel like it's allowing and giving permission to Black folks to say, yeah, we're all things. We really are all things. We really can be all things. It's really wonderful to be part of that.
Kofi, your character, Ralph Angel, last season seemed like he was always kind of pulling himself out of the hole. And now that with the end of the last season and the will and everything, it seems like season 2 starts with you kind of like finding your stable ground. And I feel like, how does the character change among season 1 and season 2? Like, and how do you approach it different this year than the season that last?
Good question, man. I feel like last year Ralph Angel had a point to prove, you know, to the world, to his family, to everybody around him. It was very much so, I don't want to be viewed as this. But this season, it's more, how do I view myself? How do I view my relationship with my sisters, with my land, with my father, with my son, with my girl? And I feel like that search of identity and the transition, it becomes this slow transformation, and it's kind of just happening, but I don't even think he's aware of it. You know, I can speak on it because I'm outside of it, but as Ralph Angel, some of the situations he finds himself in, he doesn't understand why he's in them until after, you know? So I feel like he's just committed to the process, and that's what he focuses on. It's just, I want to be this, so I'm beelining towards that, you know, that destination. I don't even know if he knows completely where it is, but he has an idea, and I think that's a part of the whole process, you know.
How is Louisiana, I mean, because y'all represent so many different parts of Louisiana in the stories. How has the community received you guys as just a representation of their history?
It's overwhelming. I mean, they just embraced us fully from every aspect. When we walk around those streets, they treat us like the Borderlones, for real. There is no disconnect. It's as if I'm Ralph Angel, that's Charlie, and that's Noah, period.
Yeah.
And that's so, I'm grateful for that. I'm from LA, so to be able to get that, take that to work that same day. I could go to the grocery store, get some love, go right to set, and give that love right back to them. And that's what makes it a conversation. So, I mean, it plays such a huge part, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We love seeing you.
Thank you.